Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the DeFi Crypto Sensei coming back to you once again live on this end of 2025, ladies and gentlemen. So happy New Year's Eve to all. And we are going to get up in here today and we are going to talk a little bit about the Canton Network going crazy, ladies and gentlemen. In my last video, if you saw it, I explained a little bit about Canton and just a little brief overview, and we have learned some new things today as it continues to expand, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we have to look at my favorite thing here, ever reminding you guys that the U.S. national debt continues to climb, ladies and gentlemen. The more it climbs, the more you lose your dimes, ladies and gentlemen. The purchasing power of your dollar is already between 2 and 1 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Very soon, one day, it will be 0, and then it will go -1, 2, and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we doing about it? We are getting our money outside of the fiat trap, ladies and gentlemen. And in order to do so, you're going to have a financial portfolio that is based on real value. So welcome to the Internet of Value, ladies and gentlemen, where we are here to discuss things you should know, because finally you can give yourself a seat at the table. You can become your own bank and you can get this generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. You've got about 5 years in order to dig in and to create a foundation, because very soon the people that do not get their ticket will be left behind. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you're going to need a couple of tools. And one of those tools, of course, is KINESIS Money, ladies and gentlemen, where you will get your tokenized gold and silver, as well as a diverse crypto platform. I've been with KINESIS Money for well over 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. And not only do you get your own financial advisor, but your gold and silver is redeemable, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they will send you some or all of your gold straight to your door in physical form, should you choose for them to do so, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, you have your DEXs. You got UPHOLD, you got and you got KRAKEN. And, of course, that's where you can get your crypto. And on UPHOLD, I'm pretty much using UPHOLD as my bank now, ladies and gentlemen, because one thing about UPHOLD, when you place your money, your stable coins, your USD, your fiat, whatever, they do not, unlike your bank, lend your money out. Your money is always there. And if you want to take some or all of your money out, there are no questions asked and no bureaucracy. So if you want to move $12,000, $20,000, $30,000, you can do so in an instant without any hassle, because after all, it is your money. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this Canton Network. But before we do, I'm sure you guys, somebody asked me what was going on with this cape up in the corner. And the Canton Network, ladies and gentlemen, is for those who want to make themselves impervious to SIM swapping. SIM swapping is a big problem, ladies and gentlemen. If somebody SIM swaps you in your account, they can pretty much get a hold of everything. They can get a hold of your bank account. They can get a hold of your social security number. They can start accounts in your name, and it's just a mess, ladies and gentlemen. And as an investor, that's just something that I can't put up with, you know what I'm saying? Because I not only have, you know, my own personal finance, but I also take a responsibility for several other of friends and family, you know, that allow me to manage their some of their liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not a person that I do everything that I can to keep from getting hacked. Everything from 2FAs to air gap wallets. And as you can see, when it comes to air gap wallets, I got the KINESIS Pro 3 down here, ladies and gentlemen. So I keep everything locked up on a Keystone Pro 3, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, this is what we do. And of course, you know, we are gearing our portfolio to be ready for quantum computers, ladies and gentlemen, because if your crypto is not quantum resistant, then you're basically building a portfolio that could be hacked in a few years. So you want to move your cryptos towards things that can't be hacked. All right. Ethereum has moved in that direction. Hashgraph Hedera, things of that nature. BSV, the original Bitcoin protocol, things of that nature. So this is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. But without further ado, let's get into the Canton Network, ladies and gentlemen. So if we go over here, we already know, as I explained in the last video, that the Canton Network has partnered with the DTCC, which is the digital standard, ladies and gentlemen. And just for those that have not watched my last video, the DTCC is the digital standard, is a digital assets thought leadership platform delivering timely insights on digital asset innovation, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can come over here and you can look at this stuff and you can read more about the DTC, but they're basically a deposit and trust company, ladies and gentlemen, that has so much liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when they partnered, they are unloading. At least they're starting out with $6 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. And there is so much liquidity, not just with DTCC, even though they are one of the most primary players in here, but you got BlackRock, you got all the biggest of names in here. DTCC is just, one of the biggest, if not the biggest. All of the treasury stocks and bonds and all of that liquidity is coming on chain. When Larry Fink kept telling you from BlackRock, kept telling you that everything will be tokenized, this is what he was talking about. He was talking about the Canton Network that they've been building for well over 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, in order to get this thing going. You can use the Loop wallet, ladies and gentlemen, which is a cantonloop.com. You can go there and then you can go into the Telegram and get yourself an invite code and get yourself that. Then you can go on over here and you can also get yourself involved with the Braun wallet, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you want to use the wallet that is on your laptop, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the Braun wallet, crypto without fear. And this was made by a super validator. There are several of them. 5N made the Loop wallet I just showed you, and this was made by another super validator called Copper. And as you can see, the Braun wallet allows you to use several blockchains. And if you go there to use the Canton, you will have to activate that within the Braun wallet, because that's what I'm specifically using it for. But it looks as if I'm going to start to be using it for other things as well. We'll see as time continues to move on. You can go inside the Braun wallet and it's seedless recovery. You can swap inside of the software that you download to your computer, of course. Seamless swaps, hidden vaults. You can stake. There's staking involved. You got advanced features, policy engines. You got security, usability, cold storage level protection combined with simple, easy to use interface. The people that are involved, you can pick your plan, ladies and gentlemen, but because of the money that you're making, it basically pays for itself, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you involve yourself in the Canton billing campaign that they have going on. I am involved with that, and every day I get some Canton coins directly into my account because I am participating in the Canton billing campaign that they have going on within this wallet, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue to move on. And if we go here, I've discovered something today, which is the Canton wallet, ladies and gentlemen. And it's an application called Send, ladies and gentlemen. And Send is exactly what it says. It allows you and anybody, and you could tell this is pretty much made for retail, ladies and gentlemen, where you can go in here, you could deposit money, you can make money, you can invest, and the like. And it's not available on the mobile just yet, but the Canton wallet is. And this is a Canton wallet that is directly made for the Send application, which is a payment system, ladies and gentlemen. If you go over here to info.send.it, docs, /Canton, and you come to this, and you will see the overview of the Send Canton wallet, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Canton, as I explained before, is like the marriage between TradFi and DeFi, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to get that directly from some of the founders' mouths in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. But as you can see here, Canton Wallet is a passkey first crypto wallet that lets you log in with your face or fingerprint instead of memorizing seed phrases. It runs on Canton's private network. It should say private there. I'm gonna throw that in there because that's exactly what it is. So your transactions stay private end to end, ladies and gentlemen. That's another thing about the Canton Network. It is very different from most other blockchains in that the DAML scripting language that they used to create Canton for well over 10 years gives privacy, ladies and gentlemen. So only you and the person you're doing business with knows what's going on, because only the person that you're dealing with needs to have the financial settlement, ladies and gentlemen. So what it does, your biometric authentication, output, send and receive, Canton coin privately, how web auth passkeys replace seed phrases, Canton hides transaction details. And why this matters, seed phrases are terrible UX, ladies and gentlemen, and a massive security risk. Most people either lose them or store them insecurely. Meanwhile, every transaction on public blockchain is visible forever. Canton Wallet fixes both problems today. No seed phrases to lose, no public transaction history to expose your financial security. And this is, of course, what you get, ladies and gentlemen. So I attempted to actually sign up for the wallet myself, ladies and gentlemen. And when I went to create an account, let me just show you what happened, because I actually have this on the laptop. Like, it worked on the laptop. And let's just do Kung Tech Fu here, just to give you a quick example. I already have this this username, ladies and gentlemen, on the laptop. And then something funny happened. But if we go here, you see Canton Network onboarding is temporarily, the signups are temporarily paused, ladies and gentlemen, just temporarily. But that's here on the mobile. On the laptop, I was able to get into this, and I was able to set up my account for Kung Tech Fu. And I realized that the Canton Network is it's not only using Canton Network, they are also using the base chain, ladies and gentlemen. So it is insane. My next video, I will get on the laptop and I will show you how it works on the laptop and what they're using, because it's not just the Canton, but they are also using Coinbase's layer 2 base chain, ladies and gentlemen. So that's awesome. Now, if we go here, we're going to look at something else, ladies and gentlemen. You go over here to Hyperliquid, and if you know about Hyperliquid, then you know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I started trading this today on Hyperliquid, and I did a 3x long on Hyperliquid, and this thing is just tearing out the frame, ladies and gentlemen, because I started trading this thing at like 13 cents. And now you can see it's up to 16, almost 16 and a half cents, ladies and gentlemen. So I put like about $100 over here, and I just did a 3x long a couple of times and just made a few dollars just playing around. But as you can see, Canton is simply ripping out of the frame, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's go and get some words directly from the founder himself. Now, if we go over here, and of course, what I queued up is no longer here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at where my account is. Let's go here. Let's go to my profile. Let's go to replies. And here we go. All right, I'm getting kind of good at retracking my stuff here. But the Canton Network over here on X, 2026 is the year of institutional finance scales on chain. Thank you to the builders, validators, institutions, and community members driving the Canton ecosystem forward. Here's to a year of greater interoperability and meaningful on-chain utility. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys. So before we read this next one, I just want to remind you guys about the DTCC. Notice that, like I said, they walked through the door with $6 trillion of liquidity, and they are onboarding well over 350 to 400 billion dollars every day, ladies and gentlemen. That's why Canton is insane right now, and it will continue to be insane because they have so much traditional or TradFi money to tokenize. They are bringing all of that liquidity on chain. The liquidity is already there. They're just putting it on chain, guys. So, this is humongous. It's the biggest thing that I've seen in crypto in 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here to tell you, I've been here for 5 years, and I'm here to tell you, well, I've been in tech all my life. Like I said, I've been here since the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. When the first computer came out for public consumption, it was the Radio Shack TRS-80 Model 1. I was programming in BASIC when I was in the 7th grade, ladies and gentlemen. I've been here since the beginning. I've been here since Commodore 64. I've been here since Atari. I've been here since Texas Instruments. I've been a computer tech, and I'm here to tell you, I have seen this whole technology thing play out from the beginning, which is why I understand this better than most. So let's take a look at UPHOLD, ladies and gentlemen, one of the founders of Canton. People will say that Canton Network is the Wall Street cabal. But here is a great example of Proof Group, a crypto native operator investor, endorsing NASDAQ to join Canton Network. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? The founder of Canton Network is telling you that the NASDAQ will be on chain and on Canton Network. And that's just the beginning. Of course, they're going to move out to Hashgraph Federa. Of course, they're going to move out to Stellar Lumens. Of course, they're going to move out to the XRP ledger. Of course, they're going to move out to the base chain. Of course, they're going to move out to Ethereum with Ethereum side chains. So there's so much liquidity, like Nadine Chakar said of the DTCC. There's so much liquidity the Canton Network cannot handle it all, ladies and gentlemen. This is about building real utility with real people, both TradFi and DeFi equally. This is how AllFi gets created, ladies and gentlemen. Check that out. Some of us on TradFi, some of us on DeFi. Now we got AllFi. It's crazy. Thank you, Ingest, for being a partner early on. And then we got here, this is the Proof Group. They are pleased to endorse NASDAQ joining Canton Network, CC, Canton Coin, as a super validator. And it just goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. On-chain finance rewards, CIP, and it just goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, let's go ahead and get out of here for a second. And as you can see, I even put Canton as my background here. So this is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on what's going on with that and what's going on with the Canton Network. You can also go to KRAKEN and you can get Canton coins on KRAKEN. You can get Canton coins on MEXC. You can buy them on UPHOLD, but the only thing about UPHOLD at the time of this video, this will probably change very, very, very soon. But on UPHOLD, you won't be able to send them out from UPHOLD on the Canton Network, okay? And I'm actually going to try, I'm actually going to buy some. I use UPHOLD every day. And I also have the Visa Master debit card, and I get 6% back in XRP every month, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a plus. And of course, if you say XRP, you have to say Flare. You know, because that's why we don't need to sell our XRP, because we simply put it over in Flare for F assets, and then we go and provide liquidity on things like KINESIS and so on and so forth. Very soon, ladies and gentlemen, I will do a video on Flare and how to turn your native XRP into F assets, and then utilizing that so that you never have to sell your XRP, because you know that's our slogan over here. Never sell, ladies and gentlemen, because you don't have to. Why? Why, I ask you? Why would you sell your cows so that you can go and buy some milk? That doesn't make sense. So this is what we do. We use compound interest and the dividends, and we get yield on yield. If we happen to get a little price appreciation, that's cool, but that's not really what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. You see, this is why I told you before, and I'll tell you again, price is a distraction. All right? We get the assets that have real value, real utility, real scarcity, real world assets to do real things, ladies and gentlemen, as we build our empire brick by brick, ladies and gentlemen. You can get this generational wealth. You need to get this generational wealth, because do I have to remind you? Do I have to remind you, ladies and gentlemen? The national debt is ticking. Every dollar in your pocket, not only is it worth 1 to 2 cents in purchasing power, but it is also not even money. It's an IOU. Read your dollar. This note is legal tender for all debts, private and public. That's an IOU, ladies and gentlemen. Get your wealth into crypto. Get your wealth into, take your fiat that is depreciating in value every second of every minute of every day, and put it into appreciating assets that you can also earn yield on, ladies and gentlemen, and build your financial empire. Be your own bank, ladies and gentlemen, and simultaneously your own international monetary system. Because you can use any money at any time. You can use a stable coin, you can use Bitcoin, you can use Ethereum, you can use the Chilean peso. It is up to you if you get in here and you learn how to do this. And then teach your successors, whoever that may be, so that they can preserve the wealth. Because that's what we are here to do, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to get the money, we are here to grow the money, and we are here to keep the money, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is a quick checkup from the neck up on your financial situation that we will continue to evolve, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You already know. We have to continue to get this crypto.